as we make our way down. So we'll get a first taste of what we have going on here, whether it's going to be Chozo, Major, Minor. It's for sure not Countdown yet. And it looks like it's going to be Chozo. So that means that all of the items that we're going to be finding are going to be at their Chozo location. So anything that we need for progression moving forward is going to be found on a Chozo statue. Everything else is just bonus. And power bombs get started off. The runners are going to love that because now they're going to be able to check that first map location depending on what they find in the roof or if they take much in the way of damage here. A lot of people don't like to go through that location if they don't have the health to be able to survive a side hopper attack. And for sure, it is a Chozo randomizer. So this is going to be an interesting run. You'll see a lot of different types of location checks and item checks because of the Chozo randomizer. And it looks like we're going to get an early check upstairs. So we'll see what we have going on here. And both runners making that decision as well. And Beep making their way up, and we're going to get our first look and see what is behind Billy Mays. And we have another missile. So good missiles early on to get us started off. And our first super location as well. Nice to get those early supers out of the way, that way you can make a lot of map progression later on. Meanwhile, chat, let's get some hype for the runners as we're off to a good early start here. Alright, we're going to be progressing left here. We're probably going to check that map location. Beep may not with their lower health, and yeah, moving right through it. Leslie may not as well. Leslie deciding against it. No, this is definitely an important check to make to see if you're going to be facing a randomized map and where that initial location is going to check. But who knows? With that low of health, it made it a lot riskier to try. It can't even survive one hit from the side hoppers. And we do find an early E-tank, so they may actually progress back downstairs to take a look. We'll see what they decide to do though. And Beep continuing on to going upwards. What's Leslie going to do? Leslie also making the same decision. And yes indeed, just one power bomb left for both of them right now. Not a good way to restore them either. Though they might opt to take that initial save from the ship just to get their items restocked. They could easily see a gauntlet check here with their item locations as well. And we'll take a look at 230 missiles and see what we have. And it's going to be another super, so definitely getting some nice ammo to get started off here. Which is especially nice with only a starter charge beam as well. And we're going to see a nice BT check here, and unless it's regular bombs, we won't have to fight a boss. Even if we do, we have plenty of super missiles to take care of him. He won't last long. And we have another energy tank here to get us going as well. So 2 E-tanks to get us going. We're more than likely looking at a good solid gauntlet check here after a quick trip to the ship. And very nice escape there. No matter what, we needed a trip to the ship because we needed more power bombs to even progress further on the map itself. Too many bomb locations. Not enough screw attack. Alright, so Beep opting not to go to Gauntlet to check. What's Leslie going to do? And looks like Leslie is following the same pattern, but Beep finding a second power bomb pack might change things here, but maybe not. We will see. Oh, continuing forward and making our way to possibly another location check as well. We're going to see a backwards gauntlet check there for the gauntlet items. We did see a power bomb and a missile pack there. It looks like Leslie's taking the same exact check here. They're going to find their extra pack of power bombs and a missile. We are indeed looking at a vanilla map, so that early check actually kind of beneficial. Ignoring that check to get going there because they didn't need to at this point. The game was polite. Beep finding another energy tank pack there. And we'll see what we got hidden behind our early supers location. We're gonna find another missile there. So ammo looking really good at this point, honestly. 25 missiles, 10 supers, that's pretty good for early startup. And us finding a spazer there. So not a lot of help with the spazer, but it's at least better than 20. Now at this point we haven't seen any boss locations yet, so we could still see randomized bosses as well. And Beep grabbing their energy tank and moving their way out of early supers, heading on down to Big Pink's location and possibly a leftward check here as well. Looks like we're going to see an Edakun's check. And we find another super missile. Game definitely favoring a lot of ammo earlier on. Again, thing to start off with. And we have lost the restream. I'm running behind on information here. Give us just a moment. Apologize for the minor technical difficulties going on. We're getting it all sorted out at this point. It's at least still being broadcast here. I believe we've got it back. Yes, we've got it back. We're a solid. Alright. Beep making their way out of the side hoppers, out of the early wave room. And we're going to see a reverse spore spawn check here. Ooh, and we have a very early Varia suit, so any thoughts about having to do a hell run are now over. I think Norfair is definitely our next logical location with that check. Game definitely giving us a bit of a gift there. So far, a very healthy seed with 4 E-tanks early on, as well as finding the Varia suit. A lot of help coming from the game, and an early Ice Beam too. So no need to go hunting for that. I would agree, Sam Monster. I would hope to see a good boss shuffle. I look forward to seeing what the game has for us in store. What's interesting is that we're actually finding beams in beam order. We started off with the charge beam, then we found our spacer, and now we have our ice beam. And then Beep making their way over to the red tower. Grub, I don't believe that there can be any quote-unquote max except for the amount that's in the game itself, because you could have Mystery Randomizer that could have 4 Ridleys. That surprise can be very surprising. Yes, you can, absolutely. Though the likelihood of that happening is very slim. There's only a 10% chance of the surprise rotation. And an early gravity suit. So we have full suits going into the heart of the map. You know, I'm gonna guess that the randomizer is just like, you know what? I've been mean to the players lately. Here's a nice gift. Yeah, I'm not surprised we're going to see an earlier Meridia check here. Game giving us all kinds of gifts. And we have Ice Beam for the harder locations. We have Gravity for easy movement. You know, Leslie is now making their way down Red Tower, and we're not seeing an early X-ray check from either of the players here. Which is interesting, with this much health I would imagine we would have seen it, but... it pretty much is just a boss run at this point, yes. And is that... that's another super there. Meanwhile, Leslie now grabbing their gravity suit and making their way likely to the same locations that Beep is. Not a lot of item variants here for adding to a potential route diversion. Everything is pretty much straightforward at this point. I would agree for the lower Norfair push. And looks like that's what Leslie might be going for as well. Get the longer distance locations of the way. No, we're going to see a Kraid check. Let's see, we've got 25 super potential, 40 regular missiles, and a charge beam. So even if it is Ridley, although we're lower on health, it's still doable, for sure. We would need to regain some ammo for supers, though. There is an opportunity to restore. And another E-tank, so health even less of a threat here now that we've found another E-tank. If it does end up being Ridley, we'll have a fairly easy fight if we can just get our supers restored. At least it's not just the regular charge. We have a couple beams now, so it's doing a little bit more damage. It's not a lot of improvement, but it does help. And getting 5 supers from the mini Kraid, always a good start. And it looks like we're going to farm that mini Kraid a little bit here, just in case. And good move by Leslie here in preparation of a harder Ridley fight. And now with those 20 supers, we're looking pretty happy here going into a potential Ridley fight. What does everybody think it's going to be? Are we going to be having a Ridley fight early on, or are we going to get something small? And of course it's Ridley! Of course it's Ridley! The game predicted it for us. And you'll see that it actually says that we are in Kraid's lair right now with the Ridley fight itself. So we could actually still be looking at a mystery boss. We could have the mystery. Honestly, I'm hoping for a surprise because I've yet to have one of these races that I've seen that's had a surprise. That's my own personal preference, though. Leslie deciding to finish off with power bombs here. Meanwhile, Beep having a good fight themselves, getting some really good pogos there to help him out. And Boss not quite dead from that grab. Beep finishing up their Ridley fight. A nice fight by Beep. And we're gonna find a nice battery. We indeed did get our shower there, holy smoke. The very rarely seen Spazer combo. Ooh, and an unfortunate death there for Leslie. We're gonna see where we're back at. It looks like we did take a save almost right outside the Ridley fight itself. So, we're not too far behind, we're just behind a Ridley fight at the moment. We took a very smart save there, just to make sure we would be okay. And it looks like we're going to be dipping out of Ridley here and moving on. So right now, we're both on the same course, Beep and Leslie hitting Norfair at the same time. I would agree, Nubian. 100%. I think we're making some good route choices here. there is always the opportunity for Leslie to make up time somewhere on this map with different route choicings that we can make. So we'll see. And Beep actually going forward and not checking those earlier items here. An interesting choice. And we do find some high jump boots for Leslie, so that'll definitely help with the Meridia check once we get there. But I also say high jump and high jump location. Beep making their way quickly over to Bubble Mountain here. More than likely, Beep is going to be opting to check on those other items on his way out rather than his way down. So checking them first might have been more beneficial. We will see. And we're gonna probably... No, we're not looking... Neither player looking at the ice beam weapon location. That's a good question. I don't know at this point. I would think if they did, they would have checked those items for sure, because those are both Chozo locations. We could also be dedicated to running down to Lower Norfair at this point too, because we have the health, we have the ammo. And some nice wall jumping there by Leslie on their way through. Very pretty to watch. Ooh, Beep just missing his climb there. Beep doesn't have the high jump for this here. We can't quite do the wall jump technique. But he's gonna make his way up to find what's that speed booster item here. Meanwhile, Leslie is deciding to go left and check the reserve location. Again, Norfair just not as scary this time around here, just because we have the Varia and Gravity get started off. This is a cakewalk for them. And a nice super missile grab there by Beep. And it looks like with the way ammo's going out, we might be focusing on finding ammo rather than finding additional beams. And we do get a nice screw attack there. So that'll definitely help the pillars coming up into Lower Norfair. Nice little luxury item there. Extra survivability. At this point, both of the runners are pretty much in go mode. We have the ice beam to do any ice clips into Bot Wound. We have the health. We have the firepower. Everything else beyond this right now is just a little bit extra bit of luxury. One thing that would be definite help to them right now, though, is a wave beam to help us get through some future rooms. Is it necessary? No, but it is helpful. And being that they're checking these minor locations as well, I'm beginning to think that we still haven't quite realized that it is Chozo. Because they're checking a lot of these minor locations here instead of going for more of the critical ones. Alright, and Beep making their way down here. And Leslie picking up their screw attack. So the question is, are we going to be betting on Croc today? And the answer is, yes, we are betting on Croc. Always, always bet on Croc. So far, seeing a fairly clean Crocmire fight here from Beep. Getting nice missile combinations there. And we are down. And we do find our double jump here. So if you're not familiar, double jump is almost akin to the space jump boots in the Metroid Prime series. You'll get one jump, and then you'll get another jump, and then that's it. Well, it's a nice little substitute there, so we may not even space jump in this seed. We for sure want to, if we've at this point realized that we have a Chozo seed, we definitely want to check that. Never mind. What I was going to say is we want to check that grapple location for the Chozo statue that we've got there, but it does not appear that we are going to be doing so today. Leslie taking a little bit of different routing here. We're working our way back downstairs. And we're going to be doing a reverse run here. Meanwhile, Beep at this point, no doubt looking to go towards Lower Norfair. We've done pretty much everything else except for those early checks. And we are indeed working our way there. Leslie also making their lava dive right now. Not as scary. We're turning off our gravity suit here for a nice gravity lava jump. Almost making it. Meanwhile, Beep has completed their dive and they're on their way. Now, I'll tell you one check I haven't seen in a good long time myself is a good old-fashioned GT check. And that would be a good move to make because at this point, we are in Chozo. So we could find something genuinely helpful to us at this point. And while our rounders are making their way to their newer locations, we're going through a faster pillars here. Make sure to follow both of our runners here on Twitch, and make sure to give them some extra love and support. We love to grow this community here for the runners, as well as making sure that we're able to show their support and show how much we're enjoying watching what they do best. Definitely make sure to give a lot of love to the runners. Beep making their way through worst room of the game, and coming on out to the rising lava. Not having speed booster here, not having space jump, can have a big effect because at this point space jump would still be a massive help in this room. Although we do have the double jump, it's a little bit of help. It's just not as nice as it could be. But still making it through no problem, as Leslie's making their way through worst room of the game now. That screw attack showing exactly why it's useful. Goodbye Key Hunter 1, goodbye Key Hunter 2, and goodbye Key Hunter 3. Any more? And we see a Mickey Mouse check, and we find another E-Tank there. So at this point, we have enough E-Tanks also to do stand-up glitch if we wanted to try and get some extra damage into Mother Brain. We'll see what we've got behind this wall. Again, not going to be a major item because it's not on a Chozo statue. And I think both our runners are still thinking it's Major Minor at this point. Which could be a really interesting rest of the game too, if one of them begins to realize. And we're going to get another taste here to see just what kind of seed we're looking at too, because we'll be able to find out in just a minute here whether we're still looking at a mystery. Rather, whether we're looking at a surprise. I will say that double jump definitely coming in handy for Beep here. That Crocomire check paying off just a little bit for that extra bit of movement. And we are going to make our way through here. And we are still looking like we're a potential surprise, because it says we're in Lower Norfair while we're in Dragon's room. Without having either grapple or speed boost, we're going to see an old-fashioned Dragon fight here. Ammo only. But Beep getting in some really good supers there, and continuing along across the screen. Really nice technique there. Ah, but we could still have triple Ridley. We could still have it. And a really nice Dragon fight there by Beep. Nice and clean, maintaining that super contact all the way along. Really nicely done. And Leslie's going to be making their way to finding out that they have a Dragon fight ahead of them as well. Ooh, and what a find there, a speed booster. Ha, Tridley. Yes, indeed. Leslie being smart here, realizing that there is the potential of another Ridley fight going on here. Definitely getting their ammo up. Those item drops just not being very friendly for a second there. Beep is now making their way out of the room itself, and will likely continue on to Meridia after this point. I'm not sure that they're going to check any kind of items here. And yes, we do have a high five coming out of the two rooms there, and through the Metal Pirates. Shoutouts to Nubian because he's doing such a great job helping keeping me on track and make sure I don't miss anything. And Leslie setting up for their fight, destroying the turrets here, giving them just a little bit of an easier job. As far as for regular bombs, I'm not gonna bet that they're gonna be at left sand pit. Alright, Leslie now engaged fully in their Dragon fight here. Meanwhile, Beep is making their way out of Lower Norfair and more than likely progressing up to Meridia. Still checking those mine items. There's still going to be miners. And we're going to say hello to the Three Musketeers. Yep, that's a miner item too. Eventually we will figure it out that this is a Chozo seed. Meanwhile, Leslie coming across their speed booster here. Now, Leslie at this point may not have the double jump that Beep has, but they do have the high jump boots, which can be a major advantage with the speed booster combined. The question is Beep going to check those item locations that he missed on his way in? Neither of them checked Ice Beam, and we know that high jumps is going to be vanilla. Leslie fully wrapped up with their fight, now ammoing up. Oh, never mind, we're not ammoing up. We realize that we're okay. And we are not going to check those item locations. We're just moving out of here. So Beep is not going to find his high jump boots because there's no way we're going to come back to Norfair for that. Meanwhile, Leslie is working their way back up towards Upper Norfair as Beep is making their way deeper into Meridia. And we have synchronized door transitions there between different locations. Beep making good use of that speed booster that we just got. A beautiful shot right upstairs as we're going down to visit the crabs. Well, Leslie making their way through the key hunters right now, showing exactly why Screw Attack is such a good item. The best luxury item in the game. And we're going to find another E-tank at Fireflies. No reason for Leslie to take that when we're sitting on 8 energy tanks right now. We've easily got enough to beat the game and even to do stand-up glitch. Meanwhile, say hello to the snake. And give it a boop. Leslie making their way up through the Three Musketeers themselves, checking that minor location again. Still a missile from when we saw it the last time, no surprise there. Bot wound proving exactly why that hitbox on him is so difficult. And we got our last super missile in there. Very nice shot. I mean, it really is in Beep's name right there, too, Boop the Snake. Just a quick item refill here. Necessary one at that. Boop running very short on ammo after that fight. Meanwhile, Leslie making their way through the... Quick stop for some more power bombs as we're going back. Now, are we going to check ice location on Leslie? I'm still curious to see what that item is. And it does not appear so. So that is one item we will just have to be surprised by in the credits. Boop making good use of that double jump here. Take a little bit of the spike into the sand, but not too bad off. A little tricky to get out of with that location. But nicely done. We got ourselves up and out. Leslie making their way back to their Ridley fight at this point. Alright, Leslie. We got Ridley fight round 2 for you. Yep, and Beep showing us East Meridia here. So the only thing we haven't seen at this point is going to be wrecked ship. A good, clean fight by Beep, making their way out. At this point, I don't think Beep checks anything in Meridia. I think we're going to be moving straight up to the wrecked ship and beating the game. We have everything we need at this point. Alright, Leslie. Let's give some love to Leslie here on our second attempt at Ridley. We've got it this time. Leslie actually having a nice and clean fight here so far. Getting really good pogos here to get a lot of supers off on Ridley. Really nice shots there for him. We do not have dead Ridley quite yet. Oh, we do. There we go. Ridley's finishing up. Alright, good job, Leslie. Made it through this time. Nice and clean fight. Meanwhile, Boop making their way back up to Meridia here. Working our way out. There we go. Making our way up. And we're on our way to Big Red. Let's see what Leslie's going to find in our attic item here. I believe this was just, yeah, just a missile. So ammo-wise, Leslie is slightly ahead of Beep just because of the extra missiles there, but Beep does have more direct supers. And Beep, now we are on our way to the wrecked ship. And no ocean fly. So Leslie not going to see exactly why having that double jump is handy there, having to freeze the fish to make their way up. Yes, it absolutely does, Starson. So Leslie now equal on supers with Beep. Gonna just be a little bit better on ammo at the moment. I don't think it's going to have a large impact on what we're going to experience with Mother Brain in the end. I think right now it's just going to come down to who gets there first. And Beep on their way to the Fantoon fight. Let's see who we have here. Here's our chance at a good surprise. And it is Vanilla. So we did end up with shuffled boxes. Not a surprise. I had my hopes up. Meanwhile, Leslie making their way through and going to be able to find their Kraid fight here. Meanwhile, Beep finishing up his Fantoon. Oh, not quite. We have it in Rage. Slightly off on the amount of missiles we needed. Though, let's be honest, how often do we get to see an enraged Fantoon? Not very. It's a nice wall jump thing there by Leslie. But working their way back down to get that last super missile that they dropped there. So this room will be a different lot trickier for Leslie as they don't have the double jump here. Meanwhile, Beep more than likely just going to make their way out, not check anything, and be off to Mother Brain. Looks like we are going to make a check here. Kind of surprised in this situation. We've missed a couple of other really big checks that we just didn't look at. And we find our spring ball. Second best luxury item in the game. What's interesting is when someone's really studied up on their spring ball maneuvers with Speed Booster, it can be fun to watch. Such a clean run. Alright, so it looks like Beep at this point is betting on a stacked ship. Let's take a look. I'm honestly surprised to see these checks at this point. And nope, we are noping out of here and we are done. But it looks like we're going to check this minor location at the bottom here. And we find a power bomb. At this point, regular bombs nowhere to be found in this seed. And And Leslie finishing up with their crate fight here. We're going to take a look and find out that it's just a missile. Just a missile. So we're going... I thought we were going to see a gauntlet check there with that speed booster charge. Bombs could be a gauntlet. Honestly, the seed did kind of allude to it. No, we're going to see up here. An interesting check to make at this point. So yeah, given everything that's going on, I think the runners still have no idea that this is Chozo. But still, not a bad find there. That item fanfare time was definitely worth picking up an extra pack of supers here. Because that's just extra DPS we can add to Mother Brain. And we are finally going to see a gauntlet check. See, this check I'm excited about. This is one I wanted to see early on. New began forgetting for a second there that he has double jump. I mean, Beep forgetting that. Alright, this will be a nice clean run through the gauntlet. And we're getting our sandpit checks here from Leslie. We found a grapple beam, actually. An interesting find there, not what I would have expected. Another super for Leslie as well. So Leslie now definitely in the lead with ammo at 55 supers. Nice damage boost there. Well done by Leslie. Beep now down to G4, making their way down towards Mother Brain. Are we going to see a little bit of Forgotten Highway? Unfortunately, Beep getting hit there by one of those Metroids does mean that we're going to have to use some of those power bombs up here. But a nice recovery. Way to go right through the Metroid there. That's actually making a decent routing choice here to go the backwards way through to the wrecked ship, going up from Meridia. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Forgotten Highway. I told you that Chozo would give us some interesting routing decisions. Not that they're wrong, they're simply interesting. Meanwhile, Beep taking his drain there from the baby. Yes, thank you, Nubian. We're in pretty good shape here going into Mother Brain. 5 E-tanks, 55 missiles, 40 supers. It's going to be a little bit longer on the MB2 portion of it, simply because we don't have as many supers, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. We're still going to get quite a few of those supers in. Be making a smart save here. You never know what can happen in the next half of things, especially going in with only 5 E-tanks. You can do it with 3, but it has to be a perfect run. It's just scary. Forgetting we have our screw attack on. Likely going up to turn off the screw attack and reset, but we're not. Just resetting. There we go. Now I've realized our issue here. We'll be in much better shape after this. Not quite making our way through the Zebtite there, even with the Frozen Brinka. Zebtite just not wanting to work nicely. You know, right now, this is all giving Leslie a little bit of a chance to catch up, but we make our way through. Honestly, Leslie not too far behind at this point, depending on item checks. If something goes wrong here with Beep, and I'm not saying that it necessarily will, if something does happen, we could be looking at a fairly close race here at the end. And Mother Brain is up and ready to fight. Like my brother after I told him I broke his computer. Except I'm pretty sure he had better breath. Keep doing a great job landing those charged shots. Mother Brain not being very nice with her onion ring location. Definitely requiring some better maneuvering. Took a little bit of damage there from that one. Didn't quite land on it where we needed to. Ooh. Beep at this point cannot take another hit. Ooh, this could make things interesting at this point. You know, I know a lot of us played this game originally, and just by the time you get to the end of the game, Mother Brain is no big deal, but when you're doing it in this kind of format, it's a much different fight. If you're not used to the speed running, then Mother Brain can have all kinds of different varieties for you. We're used to your charge beam shots doing a lot more damage because you have your plasma by the end of the game, and at this point, it just makes it so much more difficult. Oh, and taking a nasty catch-up shot. Yep, and Beep taking a reset there. Smart move. Saving a little bit of time, getting away from the death. Meanwhile, Leslie is now in G4 themselves and catching up. This game could very easily still be in Leslie's grasp as well. Let's give Beep some love here. It's a very difficult fight when you're doing it Randomizer, and they've been doing a great job throughout the entire game. We've been watching a great race. But let it also be a show of how close that Leslie has been throughout the whole thing, because early on, Leslie took a death as well to Ridley, and now we're at 1 death to 1 death. So it gives you the idea that Leslie has been behind Beep just barely ever since. I guess it's a good thing I didn't say there was potential of a perfect game for all of you baseball fans out there. Leslie being smart here and turning off both suits here before hitting the baby is taking a few seconds off from what we need. Alright, come on Beep, let's have a good solid fight. You got this. Leslie being really smart there and taking that much damage. It's going to be the quickest baby interaction ever, and there it is. Baby's done. Meanwhile, Mother Brain is standing up and fighting and giving us all the bad onion ring breath. Ooh, nasty shot there by the meatball. Leslie being smart there, opening the door early. Getting our health regen and then off to Mother Brain. Again, still anybody's matchup right now. Leslie making their way into the Zebetite room. Missing their initial freeze on the ring cut and just going straight to destroying the Zebetites. Cannot blame them. They're not wasting any time. They know that they're probably running a little bit behind at this point. But Leslie does have really good ammo here. Those extra supers could really help. And Leslie is now engaging their MB1 fight. Beep still working on those shots here. Watch out for that catch-up. And it looks like we finally are entering the next phase of the fight for Beep here. Now, in comparison, Leslie here having to make far fewer charge shots. Those 47 supers in comparison are going to be providing a lot more firepower. Not to mention, Leslie still has the ability to do the stand-up glitch as well. Missing a few of their super shots there. Now just let Mother Brain have it with all of them. Meanwhile, Baby here to save the day. Mother Brain in her catch-up phase now for Leslie. Meanwhile, Beep is going to be going into the MB3 fight. Having a nice MB3 fight on Beep's side. Well, Leslie catching up with the MB2 phase at the moment. With the time frame between the two racers here, we'll likely see a double finish. I don't see a surrender at this point. Alright, Mother Brain hitting hers. And Leslie is in for the fight. A double jump definitely going to come in handy in this particular phase. Just that little extra bit of movement. There you go. Got over that ledge. Beep making their way up and out. Oh, just missing the speed boost jump there. We're gonna see some nice wall jumps instead. Again, looks deceptively easy, but is also extremely difficult to nail those wall jumps back and forth. Alright, Beep making their way up now. Almost at the ship, and gonna wrap up this race. And we are aboard. And everybody get your GGs in chat. And a GG, Beep. Well raced, well done. What a good race. Meanwhile, Leslie finishing up their MB3 at the moment as well. Mother Brain is now down. We're going to see if we're going to get both runners in here for a quick interview as well after the game. Leslie making their nice escape up as well. Yeah, that was a heck of a race. That was very well done. making our way out, and we're going to be taking our trip up. And hitting our speed booster right to the top. Leslie on their way up, almost to the ship now, making their escape. And on their way out, here we go. Coming out, and we'll see Leslie's final time here coming up. And there we have it. Entering the ship, 1:12:11.
A good run that comes up short by 2 minutes 6.
What a great race that was. And welcome in chat, Gamer. Thank you for joining us here after the race.
Yep, it's a BeeptodahBoop for this community.
Welcome, welcome. How did you feel about that race?
My heart's still racing even after the 10-minute delay of the stream.
And welcome, Leslie. Welcome to the chat.
Hey, thanks. GG Beep. Woo! That was a very good run.
That ended up being surprisingly close to you guys in the end. Leslie, with you taking that early death, it was looking a little grim there for a minute, but then Beep ended up taking a death to Mother Brain later on too, and got you a major jump up in time, which brought the race far closer than it was going to be before.
Oh, wow. That I did not. That obviously I wasn't aware of because there's only so much. When you're racing a randomizer seed, folks, you're focusing on your run and your run alone. Just knowing that, I'm surprised it wound up being that close.
Now, I gotta ask you guys, did you catch on to it being a Chozo seed? We've been wondering.
Yeah. As soon as I saw Varia, I was like, oh, 100%. Click.
We were wondering because we kept seeing you check all these different item locations, a lot of the miners, and both of you actually ended up skipping Ice Beam entirely.
At that point, I felt behind on the Ridley deaths, so I had to go.
Which makes sense, I understand that.
Yeah, from my perspective, I was like, okay, wait, I already have Varia and Gravity. Like, this could be a very quick seed. I could just, like, ammo go mode. So I kind of stopped checking majors and started checking minors along the way to the bosses.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Chozo, so a bit more minors get checked as a result because I'm not sure which ones are in, which ones are out. Plus, if it's quick and on the way, I'm gonna check it. I figured it was Chozo when I saw a morph ball on the ped because usually that's a sign of it being, a Chozo, and I wound up being
correct.
right.
It was a great race to watch between the two of you. A lot of different movement techniques being used. One of the biggest advantages between the two of you have different types of movement advantages. So Beep ended up having the double jump there, and Leslie ended up having the high jump boots, which were in their vanilla location.
Yeah, high jump's very helpful. Like, if anything, I'll take a high jump. Would have been nice to have had something like a, space jump. But then again, the charge upgrades both wound up being in some terrible locations to go after. And I'm like, yeah. I was definitely not getting either of those. But still, this is actually my best time of this particular tournament. My best time since the last SM Rat, which, gosh, anybody remember when that was? I'm just saying.
Well, hey, anyway, congrats on the personal best in the first place. That's amazing. Good for you.
Thanks, I'll take it, because the start of this tournament was rough for me, but I feel like I've bounced back well, and honestly, what's helped is take a bit of a break from seeds and just let your hands rest and watch others. See what knowledge you can gain that way. It did help.
Now, Leslie, as I understand, you have another race coming up in just a minute here, don't you?
Actually, that race is in, like, an hour. So I get to get a bit of dinner in me before then, so it's all good.
Oh, excellent. At least you get to have that and get yourself all settled the right way.
Yep. full on
Looking forward
food,
to
and
seeing
then
that.
y'all get to see me run Mario 3 Randomizer in about an hour on, let me see the schedule. All right, League Season 3 will be at 8 o'clock over on this very channel. On this very channel, actually, so if you want to see that, don't go too far.
Make
But
sure to
there's
check
still
that out,
more
everyone. You heard
great
it.
SM Rando action coming, so if that's more your speed, you're going to want Speed Gaming Prime.
Absolutely, because next up we're actually going to have Cross Product versus Sand Monster, and that's going to be a very exciting race to watch as well.
Ooh boy, the hits just keep on coming, as if the SG Live Super Metroid Map Rando qualifier wasn't exciting, which I did watch earlier, by the way. Yeah, gonna be some good stuff to come, folks, so stick with Speed Gaming tonight for all your randomizer racing action. Oh, as well as new Super Mario Bros. Wii Summer 2024 action. That's also a fun time.
There we go. Something else we can look forward to now. Well, with that, gentlemen, is there anything else that you'd like to input? Any questions that you had? Anything you want answers to?
Yeah. Mother Brain, you can eat it. Mother Brain ruined my run last race. So I practiced Mother Brain after that, and it really paid off here.
To be fair, I believe Mother Brain did eat it in the form of super missiles.
Yeah,
gave
as
her
well
her
as
green
basically a charge beam that, if I'm reading if I read the number right, of a power of 60, that's roughly the equivalent of a low percent speed type situation. So yeah, I'll take that.
Now, one thing interesting that I did note is that the beams that you guys actually found were in beam order for the original game too. You guys found Spazer first, and then you found Ice.
Oh, nice. But
Wave
then
and
we discharged
Plasma
beam.
weren't in great locations, so those were not getting picked up, especially with the pace I felt from this seed.
Absolutely. Well, guys, do you have anything else before we close it out?
All I've got is time I relax for a bit before the next race in an hour, so GG's. Maybe we get to do another one sometime soon, who knows. But I am looking forward to next week to see what that brings me. Tough loss,
Absolutely.
but you know what? I come back fighting.
Come back
Absolutely.
swinging.
And for sure, guys, thank you for the great race that you gave us here today. That was a lot of fun to watch, and thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah, thanks Nerdvada Gaming. Thank you, Nebula God. Like, Nebulan God, or Nubian? Nubian, what am I
Nubian,
thinking?
you got it. And,
yeah, thank you for such short notice, grabbing tracking and commentary. Very, very appreciative.
My pleasure. I always try and do it when I can, but, work schedules can make things a little bit difficult.
Yep, can confirm.
All right, well,
thanks
that
for
being
comms,
said...
thanks for tracking, thanks for restream. I will see you all next mission.
Absolutely. And everyone that is watching the channel right now, make sure to drop a follow to both Gamer here in Twitch, and make sure to drop a follow to Leslie there. They did a great race for us here, and wonderful job joining us here in the interview afterward. And for all of you others out there, lots more speed gaming to come throughout the day, and even more Super Metroid come at you our way. So without further ado, we will see you all next mission.
Later, everybody.